We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Engine fuel supply was cut just before Ahmedabad Air India jet crash. Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau releases preliminary probe report, says cockpit audio reveals pilots' confusion over mid-air fuel cutoff. U.S. State Department starts firing more than 1,350 workers in Trump's shake-up of diplomatic corps. Layoffs affect 1,107 civil service and 246 foreign service workers. India's Maratha military landscapes makes it to the UNESCO World Heritage List. India's 44th property to receive this recognition. Extraordinary network of 12 forts highlight strategic strength. And Wimbledon enters final stage in women's single. Iga Swiatek of Poland faces Amanda Anisimova of the US today, while in men's single, Sinner sets up final versus Alcaraz to be played on Sunday. And moving on to the details, India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau has released a preliminary report on the June 12th crash of the Air India Boeing 787-8 aircraft in Ahmedabad, revealing both the engines shut down within seconds of takeoff. According to the report, the aircraft achieved the maximum recorded airspeed of 180 knots IS at about 080842 UTC, and immediately thereafter the engine 1 and engine 2 fuel cut-off switches transitioned from run to cut-off position one after another with a time gap of 0.1 seconds. The engine N1 and N2 began to decrease from the takeoff values as the fuel supply to the engines was cut off. The report also includes a conversation between the pilots on the fuel control before the crash. In the cockpit voice recording, one of the pilots is heard asking the other why did he cut off, to which the second pilot replied that he had not done it so. The report acknowledged that the CCTV footage obtained from the airport showed Ram air turbine RAT getting deployed during the initial climb immediately after liftoff. No significant bird activities observed in the vicinity of the flight path. The aircraft started to lose altitude before crossing the airport perimeter wall. Meanwhile, Air India acknowledged the receipt of the 15-page preliminary report and said it continues to fully cooperate with the AIB and other authorities. In a post on X, Air India stated, Air India stands in solidarity with the families and those affected by the AI-171 accident. We continue to mourn the loss and are fully committed to providing support during this difficult time. We acknowledge receipt of the preliminary report released by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau today, that is 12 July 2025. Air India is working closely with stakeholders, including regulators. We continue to fully cooperate with the AAIB and other authorities as the investigation progresses. Given the active nature of the investigation, we are unable to comment on specific details and refer all such inquiries to the AAIB. Well, Boeing also issued a statement saying, our thoughts remain with the loved ones of the passengers and crew on board Air India Flight 171, as well as everyone affected on the ground in Ahmedabad. We continue to support the investigation and our customers. We will defer to the AAIB to provide information about AI-171 in adherence with the United Nations International Civil Aviation Organization protocol known as Annex 13. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday virtually attended the ceremony of distribution of appointment letters to 51,000 people at the 16th Rozgar Mela held at 47 locations across India. The newly appointed youth will be recruited across central government ministries and departments. While addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that through such employment fairs, millions of young people have already secured permanent jobs in the government of India. He also highlighted that now these young people are playing a significant role in nation building. Prime Minister also said that these Rozgar Mela reflects our government's commitment to empowering the Yuva Shakti and making them catalyst in building a Viksit Bharat.
आज दुनिया मान रही है कि भारत के पास दो असीमित शक्तियां हैं, एक डेमोग्राफी, दूसरी डेमोक्रेसी, यानी सबसे बड़ी युवा आबादी और सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र। युवाओं का यह सामर्थ्य हमारी भारत के उज्जवल भविष्य की सबसे बड़ी पूंजी भी है और सबसे बड़ी गारंटी भी है। और हमारी सरकार इसी पूंजी को समृद्धि का सूत्र बनाने में दिन रात जुटी है।
Well, India's Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Textiles, Pabitra Margarita, participated in the 15th East Asia Summit Foreign Ministers meeting in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on Friday. Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, affirmed India's unwavering support for ASEAN unity and centrality, emphasizing its alignment with the country's Act East policy and the Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative. As the East Asia Summit process marks its 20th anniversary this year, India remains its commitment to strengthening the platform, reinforcing its role as a key forum for dialogue and cooperation on regional and global issues. Well, the meeting also reviewed ongoing EAS cooperation and discussion its future direction, while also exchanged views on the region. And moving on, BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda on Friday met the chairman of the South India Business Council, Abdulaziz Al-Kahatani, in Dammam, fostering India-Saudi economic ties. The discussions, held amid ornate settings, focused on investment opportunities in fertilizers, pharmaceuticals and more, aligning with Saudi Vision 2030's diversification goals. Nadda highlighted a 2023-24 bilateral trade of $43.3 billion and encouraged Saudi firms to invest in India. The visit showcased innovative farming tech, including drone pesticide spraying, which boosts cotton yields by 20 to 30% per a nature sustainability study. Both nations aim to strengthen their Strategic Partnership Council established in 2019. And the Ministry of Railways has announced several important reforms to make the railway recruitment process transparent, simple and technology-based. Well, these reforms are aimed at convenience of candidates, fairness in examination and speed up appointments. An official statement said the significant move aims to uphold integrity and ensure fairness by achieving a zero cheating cases record in the upcoming June RRB exams, according to the new annual recruitment calendar system. To complement the biometric security, the Railway Recruitment Board is also set to implement 100% mobile jammer deployment across 7,000 exam centres throughout the country. Now the time from notification to examination has been reduced to an average of 8 months. 325 plus exam centres across the country are operational every day. Exam centre now within 250 kilometres from the candidate's home, up to maximum of 500 kilometres. 100% mobile jammers used, zero cheating reported in June 2025 RRB exam. 5,500 plus high-capacity servers, paper reviewed and translated by experts. Internal promotion also fast and fair with CBAT and tablet-based exam. 10th ITI or National Apprenticeship Certificate now valid qualification for Level 1 post. Candidates who do not join, others get immediate opportunity in their place. Now, religious symbols will not be banned in the exam, but security standards will be followed. RRB websites have been made PWBD friendly and accessible. And moving on, Maratha military landscapes of India have been added to the UNESCO World Heritage List, becoming India's 44th property to receive this global recognition. The historic decision was made on Friday during the 47th session of the World Heritage Committee in Paris. This global accolade celebrates India's enduring cultural legacy, showcasing its diverse traditions of architectural brilliance, regional identity and historical continuity. Located across a range of diverse terrains, from coastal outposts to hilltop strongholds, this extraordinary network of 12 forts reflects a sophisticated understanding of geography and strategic defense planning. Together, they form a cohesive military landscape that highlights the innovation and regional adaptation of fortification traditions in India. Well, India ranks 6th globally and 2nd in Asia-Pacific region for the most number of World Heritage Sites. And Prime Minister, Culture Minister, along with Chief Minister of Maharashtra, lauded the historic milestone and congratulated the people of India for this achievement. Taking to social media X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and I quote, "Every Indian is elated with his recognition. These Maratha military landscapes include 12 majestic forts, 11 of which are in Maharashtra and one is in Tamil Nadu. When we speak of the glorious Maratha Empire, we associate it with good governance, military strength, cultural pride and emphasis on social welfare. The great rulers inspire us with their refusal to bow to any injustice. I call upon everyone to go visit these forts and learn about the rich history of Maratha Empire." Well, the 10th batch of devotees departed from the twin base camps of Baltal and Anwan for their pilgrimage to the holy cave of Amarnath this morning amid tight security arrangements and unprecedented other facilities. Well, according to the officials, 18,110 pilgrims who visited Holy Cave paid obeisance on Friday, which took total number of pilgrims performing darshan to 1,63,726 yatris in last 9 days since the Holy Yatra started on July 3rd from twin tracks. The 38-day annual Amarnath pilgrimage to the 3,880-meter high Holy Cave Shrine in South Kashmir began on July 3rd and will conclude on August 9th. Free langar or community kitchen services continue to support pilgrims en route, especially at the Jammu base camp and several locations along the national highway. Amarnath Yatra is an annual pilgrimage to the Amarnath cave where devotees pay homage to Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. Well, devotees gathered in large numbers to offer prayers at Hanuman Gadi temple on the second day of Sawan month. Sawan holds a special place in Hindu mythology. Devotees undertake fast and offer prayers to seek the blessings of Lord Shiva during this period. The chanting of Shiv mantras, singing bhajans and performing Rudrabhishek are common practices observed with fervor across households and temples during Sawan month. This year's Sawan month commences from July 11th and will conclude on August 9th. Meanwhile, a flood of Kanwadis has started pouring in West Uttar Pradesh, and in such a situation, the most unique Kanwad is being seen in the name of Operation Sindoor. The Kanwad has been prepared by the youth of Krantidhara Meerut with the concept of Operation Sindoor. It will go to Haridwar and bring back water from Haridwar to Meerut. And still to come at this edition of DD India Live. Trump and First Lady visited flood-ravaged Karwel, received a briefing from first responders as search for missing continues. Chile calls for no obstacles to copper trade as the red metal is key to green transition. And we'll give you all the highlights from day 2 of England versus India, third test at Lord's.
This week, we meet people who are showing us that real change and action does not really have to be perfect or loud. It just has to begin somewhere.
What looks like a mere dam swamp is actually a mud flat. But this is the basis of the coastal food system. It provides food for several bird species and other life forms.
As the saying goes, we serve society for our own well-being and to better our community. Seeing improvements in our area brings us satisfaction.
The approach generally adopted by India towards Antarctica is that of the common heritage of mankind, humankind, as one would say right now.
Trees are our lifesavers. They give us oxygen, and it's unfair to harm them by hammering iron nails into them just for the sake of ads.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on. More than 1,300 State Department employees were fired since Friday in a downsizing ordered by President Donald Trump as the administration of President Donald Trump presses ahead with an unprecedented overhaul of the U.S. diplomatic corps, a move critics say will undermine U.S. interest abroad. The layoffs covers 1,107 civil service and 246 foreign service officers based in the United States. The layoffs of the department came 3 days after the Supreme Court cleared the way for the Trump administration to begin carrying out its plan to gut entire government departments. The conservative-dominated top court lifted a temporary block imposed by a lower court on Trump's plans to lay off potentially tens of thousands of employees. And the US on Friday announced for the first time sanctions against Cuban President Canel for his role in the Cuban regime's brutality towards the Cuban people. The US State Department was restricting visas for the president and other high-ranking government officials. Other officials sanctioned included Defense Minister Alvaro Lopez Mera and Interior Minister Lazaro Alberto Alvarez Casas. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio accused the Cuban government of suppressing dissent and mismanaging national resources, pointing to the regime's harsh response to the July 2021 mass protest, the largest public demonstration since the 1959 revolution. The protest was resulted in hundreds of arrests, dozens of injuries and one death, drawing global condemnation. And the United States is once again delivering military supplies to Ukraine and will also be sending its special envoy Keith Kellogg to Kyiv next week. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said, speaking in his nightly video address. Zelensky also set out a long list of areas in Ukraine where the military is facing challenges in revisiting the slow advance of Russian forces in the 40-month-old conflict. He stated that Ukraine had received high-level signals from Washington and its Western allies that arms supplies paused for a time last week had been now resumed. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump said that the United States would supply weapons to Ukraine via NATO. And at least 23 people have been dead after an attack on a monastery in village in Myanmar's Sejing region. The monastery in the village of Lintayu was hit in the early hours of Friday morning. The monastery housed around 200 people displaced by nearby fighting between the army and pro-democracy forces. Myanmar has been gripped by conflict since the military suppressed protest against the 2021 coup that unseated the elective government led by Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. Days after a devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Sagaing on March 28th, the government announced a temporary ceasefire to provide humanitarian relief. However, the military has continued to launch airstrikes and artillery attacks on rebel-controlled areas. And Chilean President Gabriel Boric on Friday called on the international community not to place obstacles or penalties on copper, as it is a key metal for decarbonization and the fight against climate change. The statement comes after this week's announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump that he will impose a 50% tariff on the red metal. Boric also said that the metal is vital for confronting the climate crisis and helping to replace fossil fuels. Well, Chile is a major supplier of copper cathodes to the United States, although most of the production is directed to China and other Asian markets. And U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump visited the Texas community of Kerrville on Friday, a week after flooding claimed at least 120 lives in the region. Trump, the First Lady, and Texas Governor Greg toured areas near the river, receiving a briefing from first responders amid debris left in the wake of the flood. President Trump defended the state and federal response to deadly flash flooding as he visited the Hill County region where many children died a week ago. Search teams on Friday continued combing through muddy debris in central Texas, looking for the many still listed as missing. No survivors have been found since the day of the floods. The devastation of flash floods is clearly visible across Texas. Homes are submerged, roads are torn apart, and communities are left reeling from the sudden destruction.
The search for the missing continues. The people that are doing it are unbelievable people. We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. We're not going to let a thing like this happen again where it can wreak this kind of devastation.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A 26-year-old German backpacker, Carolina Wilger, was found alive but in a fragile state on Friday, 12 days after she went missing in the harsh wilderness of Western Australia. Police confirmed her disappearance prompted a major search effort in the vast and remote outback region. Citizens of Belgrade gathered in Serbia's capital, lighting candles for the victims of Srebrenica. They honored the memory of more than 8,000 men and boys killed by Bosnian Serb forces after they captured the eastern town, standing in silence and holding hand scarves to represent the mothers of those who were killed. Well, runners participating in the North Pole Marathon are wasting no second of their training, even if they are on a ship. Ahead of the annual marathon, the competitors have been traveling aboard the French icebreaker Le Commandant Charcot. As the athletes neared their destination, polar bears could be spotted on the polar ice sheets nearby. The athletes ran for over 42 kilometers on frozen ice. China's Shizia imperial tombs have been officially inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Located in northwest China region, the Shizia imperial tombs date back to the Shizia dynasty, which flourished from the 11th to 13th centuries. It features 9 imperial mausoleums, 271 subordinate tombs, and a northern architectural complex. The tombs showcase a unique blend of Buddhist and Tangut architectural styles, highlighting the cultural exchange along with Silk Route. And in sports, a new women's champion will be crowned at Wimbledon 2025 as 5-time Grand Slam winner Iga Swiatek faces off against Amanda Anisimova in a blockbuster final. As both players gear up for the finals, the centre court is ready to witness blockbuster showdown. Here's a report.
Long known for her dominance on clay, Swiatek has reshaped her game this season, working specifically on her movement and serve to finally find comfort on grass. After reaching her first grass final in Bad Homburg and now her second here at Wimbledon, the signs are clear. She's more than just a clay court queen. When Iga Swiatek walks out for Saturday's final, she'll be chasing her 6th Grand Slam title, but her very first at Wimbledon. Swiatek has dropped just one set all tournament, that too in round 2. A win on Saturday would make her the fastest woman to 100 Grand Slam match wins since Serena Williams in 2004. But standing in her way is one of the most compelling stories of the season, Amanda Anisimova. A year ago, Anisimova didn't even qualify for Wimbledon. Ranked outside the top 180 and returning from a break from tennis, few saw her resurgence coming. But since then, she has won a WTA 1000 title in Doha, reached another final in Canada, and is now into her first ever Grand Slam final. The American powerhouse has shown resilience, and on Saturday, she'll break into the top 10 for the first time. She arrives at the final on the back of a stunning upset over world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka in the semis. For the 8th consecutive year, Wimbledon will crown a new women's champion. The final will crown a new queen of centre court, whether it's Iga Swiatek completing her Grand Slam set or Amanda Anisimova becoming the first American Wimbledon winner since 2016. Sports Desk, DD India.
While in the men's finals, Jannik Sinner will face Carlos Alcaraz on Sunday. World number 1 Jannik Sinner was a dominant straight-set winner over 7-time champion Novak Djokovic. This is Sinner's 5th consecutive win against Djokovic, and he will bid for a 3rd title in a row now. While Carlos Alcaraz is into a 3rd successive men's single final at Wimbledon and will bid for a 3rd straight title on Sunday, he defeated American Taylor Fritz in 4 sets in today's first semi-final. And updates on the 3rd test between India versus England at Lord's on day 2 on Friday. Jasprit Bumrah claimed a brilliant 5-wicket haul. Joe Root struck a sublime century, and KL Rahul anchored India's reply with an unbeaten 50. At stumps, India were 145 for 3, trailing England by 242 runs, with Rahul at crease with 53 and Rishabh Pant with 19. Captain Shubman Gill, looking to break Rahul Dravid's record for more runs by an Indian in a test series in England, fell short after edging Woke's keeper Jamie Smith, who stood up to the stumps. With the series tied 1-1, the 3rd test is finally balanced heading into day 3. And India's Animesh Kajur finished 4th in the men's under-23 200-meter event at the Morocco Diamond League on Friday. Australia's Gaut won the extent with a timing of 20:10 seconds, followed by Bostava's Colin Kebent-Shippey and South Africa's Naeem Jack in 2nd and 3rd. Kajur also holds the national record for men's 200 meters. He broke the national record in men's 100-meter after clocking 18th to win Heat 2 at the Trombe International Sprint and Relays meeting in Greece. And India has been officially confirmed as the host nation for major international shooting competitions for the next 3 consecutive years. India will host the ISSF World Cup in 2027, ISSF Junior World Championship in 2028, and conduct the first ever edition of the Shooting League of India in November this year. This further cements India's historic standing as a trusted and capable global destination for the sport of shooting. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.